It doesn't stop being average. It begins to be elite when you can cross the line. Today is that kind of day. You can feel it. You can sense it. The guy said my body is sore. My mind is hurting. So I'm going to shut down today. We got a chance to do one thing that every team in the country can't do. We got a chance to step up, man. We got a chance to step on the ledge, you know what I mean? And to me, I think it's a free fall. To be elite, you got to take a free fall. That means you can't be afraid to go to the edge. And coach said jump. You said, how far, coach? Where you want me to go? Every guy got a chance to do that today. If you're elite, grab somebody today. Take him with you. There's no more average in this program. There's no more average in this program.
How is everybody doing? I am Colin Baschnagel. It's been a while since I have made a video, a lot longer than anticipated. You know, I can't even get the hair right. That's how long it's been. So a little bit rusty. Hopefully it's not too bad here. But if you like the information I give you today, I challenge you to comment, like, and subscribe. Opinion plus discussion equals community. And that's something that I kind of came up with in my own mind, because our opinions, my opinion, your opinion, and the discussion, because of those opinions, that's what's going to create a community. All I want to do is create a college football community. I hope this audio sounds good. My source, says that it's correct. So new place. And you guys can tell by the background, if you've been around, that we got a new place and everything's changed and life is changing before we know it. And it's a great thing. So if you guys could support, please do. And go follow me on TikTok. I'm going to be a lot more active on there, making a lot of videos. And every time I do drop one of these videos, I'm going to make a TikTok corresponding with it for shorter form predictions. That's what you guys need. If you want to catch me on Twitter, I'm not super active on there. I'm going to start posting these graphics, though, that you're going to see today on Twitter, or X, as they say now. And finally, on Twitch, you can find me on Twitch. You can catch the live streams, give me comments. If you comment, it could make the cut in the show if it's certainly relevant to the topic. You could also talk to me before or after. If there's some conversation going on in the comment section at Twitch, I'll stick around a little bit. But with that being said, we are previewing the Boston College Eagles today, and I am excited to get straight into it. So let's get into it. You got the schedule scrolling below. You can keep that in mind as we talk about the different parts of Boston College this year. We're going to start with this roster movement. Now, first off, I do want to highlight the coaches here. Big coaching changes as Jeff Hafley off to the NFL, and in comes a former coordinator from the NFL, Bill O'Brien. You had the whole sequence with Ohio State for Bill O'Brien, and now he's going to Boston College to be the head coach. They do have a good bit to work with coming back. You got to start with the quarterback, Thomas Castellanos. He played lights out at times last year, looked very good, very dynamic, specifically on the ground, but very good against Florida State early on, kind of put everybody on notice. And everybody thought Boston College would be pretty lousy after their week 1 loss against Northern Illinois last year. They turned out to be a pretty good team, going 7-6 a year ago. They bring back some other guys, like Lewis Bond is back at wide receiver. Kyle Robichaux is back at running back. 3 offensive linemen is big, because though they lost Christian Mahogany, who is the top pick that they had from last year's team, that's something that they're going to be able to replace. And they picked up some transfers to replace Ryan O'Keefe, one of their top targets last year. On defense as well, you can look at them on defense, and you can be very impressed with what they have coming back. Nato Akpala is a very good player on the edge, and they got a couple of other guys like Cam Arnold, a linebacker, who can definitely play, and Amari Jackson, big-time cornerback for them. I'm excited to see what Boston College has for 2024. And we're going to predict and talk about that after we talk about these key transfers that I had referenced. Now, first off, I really like the running back Trayshawn Ward coming from Kansas State. He had been a backup, especially beyond Deuce Vaughn a couple of years ago, and things didn't really work out, and that's a hole that needs filled. Not a shot at Robichaux, but this is going to challenge him to upgrade. They let Pat Garwo go in the transfer portal over to Nevada. I think that picking him up was certainly big time for them. And also big time for them, they picked up 3 weapons. Kamari Morales is a talented kid, not a ton of playing time. He comes in from North Carolina as a tight end. And then 2 wide receivers. Start with Jaden McGowan from Vanderbilt. A lot of people were talking about the upside that London Humphreys had from Vanderbilt. This guy had more receiving yards than him, though. He stood out when he played in big-time competition. And so did Jaron Bradley, the transfer from Texas Tech. A couple of guys that really, hit the portal looking for some new places, and they ended up finding a spot here where they could be a 1-2 punch. And then you add in the fact that Lewis Bond is back. This offense is going to be fun at Boston College, especially with Bill O'Brien up there. On defense, they also added a little bit. A couple of Ohio State players that I'm familiar with, Cameron Martinez, Ryan Turner, 2 defensive backs. They also added Bryquise Brown from Georgia State. They got a lot of talent that they added in the portal, and they didn't lose that much that was super impactful. If I'm looking at where these guys transferred, it's like Emmett Moorhead, backup quarterback, transferred out. You also had like Nevada, Hawaii, Wagner, Lamar, like Eastern Michigan. This isn't this level that's there. The only one that I'm saying is a big loss that they probably could have hung on to and would have definitely taken is Shida Sila going off to Purdue. Good edge rusher. But other than that, that's one that they probably would have liked to hold on to, but not mad that he walked out the door. Like I mentioned earlier, though, replacing Christian Mahogany is a big deal. But when you got guys like Jack Conley, Andrew Kendall coming back from the inside, and Trapilo, I think it's Trapilo, pardon me, as the offensive tackle, he's got a lot of hype for sure as we get into the season. So overall, I'm really liking what I see from Boston College, and I'm excited to predict them. Now, a little bit of spoilers. We're just going to talk about each game. You can see what I'm going to stack up. I'm going to talk about these games. At Florida State, I do think that this is going to be a game that is very tough for Florida State to be able to pull off the victory in. But Florida State's going to have those first game kinks already worked out. Boston College is going to be going through them. I bet you there's going to be a little bit of growing pains with the new coaching staff, a little bit of new faces on offense, but they're going to get that healing against Duquesne. Duquesne, love what they did going in March Madness and getting a first-round victory, but this ain't March Madness, this ain't basketball. They're not winning this game, and that'll be a big confidence builder for Boston College as they head out to Columbia, Missouri, before they lose to Missouri. But I think that they're going to give them a heck of a game in a similar way that they gave Florida State a heck of a game at home early in the year last year. I think that Missouri could definitely be a very good team late in the year this year, just like they were last year. But I think Boston College is going to show how dynamic that offense can be. In a little bit of a shootout, they lose at Missouri. But this next 3, you can see how the script changes. Congrats, first off, for Boston College, scheduling out of conference, playing Michigan State. I think they win that game too. This is going to be an interesting game, though, because Jonathan Smith, first year at Michigan State, we don't know what they're going to look like fully. Aiden Childs coming in at quarterback, more than likely going to get the start. Western Kentucky also going to give you a game, especially defensively. That's going to challenge that secondary that has those new ads. But I do like the upside and the talent that Boston College has, especially over Western Kentucky, who doesn't necessarily compete that well against the Power 5 or now the Power 4. Then you go to Virginia right before a bye week, and I like you to get the victory against Virginia, but I do think Virginia is going to be much improved. This is not going to be an easy road trip, one that you can't sleepwalk through, but I do think Boston College is probably the more talented team in that one. So you get through this little stretch here with 3 wins, and all of a sudden you're 4-2 going into the bye week, off of a bye at Virginia Tech on a Thursday night. I got this as a loss. Enter Sandman's going to be crazy. I am really high on Virginia Tech this year, and I'm pretty sure they're off a bye too, if I remember correctly. I'm not going to go and check, obviously, but that's where I'm at. So I'm going to take Virginia Tech in that game, but I do think they get an upset victory, or maybe not an upset this late in the year, but they get a victory over Louisville before going on another bye week. Again, 2 byes for everybody this year. They come off that bye, and I think they beat Kyle McCord and Syracuse. Fran Brown, love what he's doing in his first offseason as the coach, but I do think the Syracuse team is completely overhyped. I think they have a lot of holes that they have not filled, and I could see this one being one of the lower scoring games for Boston College, but one in which Boston College is able to pull out because of the ability that specifically the passing attack, I think, could have against Syracuse there. And finally, we get to this last set of 3 at SMU. Just a tough trip, not even off of a bye. It's pretty wild to me that they didn't draw either of the West Coast teams, but they did draw that team from Dallas that's in this ACC conference. And I think that's just going to be a tough one to be able to get the victory up. But I think this is a 50-50 coin flip that goes to the home team here. North Carolina, I think overall they're more talented, even if they have some questions to answer about how their offense is going to look. I do think by this point, North Carolina is going to have it figured out. But a home game, senior day, and a pretty good Boston College team with a mobile quarterback. I don't really know what Pittsburgh's going to fully look like this year. They have a lot to show to me. Therefore, I'm going to go with Boston College to get the job done. So overall, I have Boston College going 7-5, 4-4 in the ACC, hitting the over-under set at 5, hitting the over. I do think Boston College makes a bowl game. My confidence on the scale of 1 to 10 that the over hits, probably about a 6.5, 7. I think that this team's going to be very good, one to watch out for sure. And I'm just excited to see where this season takes them. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said at the beginning of the video, comment down below how you think Boston College is going to do, a team you want me to do. Like and subscribe. The next team I have planned up is going to be the first team in the Big Ten. So we're going to talk about, I believe it would be Illinois. We're going to be talking about Illinois coming up next. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have yourselves a good rest of your day.